Sweetheart, the briefing starts in 10 minutes. Clear those binders off the main chair and fetch the coffee from the break room. And try to find the sugar packets this time. The voice carried easily across the polished strategy room, casual, dismissive, and laced with the soft arrogance of a man who never expected to be challenged. Elias Thorne, a civilian contractor with a too tight suit and too loose confidence, didn't even glance at the woman he was speaking to. He didn't need to. In his mind, she was a secretary. Logistics staff. One of the people who blended into the wallpaper, but Melanie Fox didn't move. She sat quietly at the far end of the table, hands folded, posture calm but unbending. Her royal blue blouse contrasted sharply with the sea of gray and camouflage filling the room as officers trickled in. Her blonde hair rested neatly on shoulders that had carried more weight, more grief and more responsibility than any man here understood. They didn't know her. They didn't recognize her. And that was exactly how she liked it. Colonel Vance barreled in with a briefcase, overflowing with paperwork he would never read. He didn't look at Melanie either. He simply waved a hand toward her as though shooing a fly. Thorne, we need the Northern Sector updates. General Sterling wants clarity, and he wants it now. Relax, Thorne said with a smug grin. Satellite shows green. The route's viable. We'll brief the general properly when he gets here. Melanie blinked, but remained composed. That route. That cursed, broken, unstable route. She knew every grain of dirt on it. She had bled on it. She had buried people on it. The Wadi route is not viable for heavy transport, she said calmly. Her voice soft, but steady enough to cut through the room. Thorne turned, eyebrows rising in amusement at the audacity. Yes. Did you need the key to the supply closet? She didn't blink. The shale on the eastern ridge destabilizes under vibration. Heavy vehicles will trigger a slide. You'll lose people. Her certainty silenced the room. Vance scowled, annoyed she dared speak. Thorne stepped closer, hands on his hips. Miss Fox, just Fox, she corrected. Fox. This is military terrain analysis, not a hiking club. Let the experts worry about rocks and dirt. You handle hydration. He pointed at the water pitcher on the table with an arrogant smirk, unaware of the irony dripping from his words. Melanie's expression didn't waver. If you send a convoy through that pass, she said quietly, you will be responsible for their deaths. Before anyone could fire back, the double doors slammed open. A wave of authority rolled into the room. General Marcus, sterling tall, battle-carved, the kind of presence that froze the world for a heartbeat. His uniform was crisp, his medals heavy with stories of places no one wished to remember. He walked to the head of the table and set down a folder with the weight of finality. We're behind schedule, he growled. Where is the State Department's unconventional warfare advisor? An awkward shuffle spread through the room. Colonel Vance spoke with a tight throat. Sir? They haven't checked in yet. Sterling's jaw tightened. I need the Northern Sector briefing. Thorne Wadi route status. Thorne straightened like a proud schoolboy. Clear, sir. Satellite confirms stability. Recommend immediate deployment. Sterling exhaled, rubbing his temple. The Wadi. He had lost men there, once good men. He reached out absently. Someone give me a pen. Officer scrambled. Pockets slapped. Pens rolled. Thorne searched frantically. Only Melanie stayed still. She extended a heavy silver pen. Sterling grabbed it, without looking, then froze. Not because of the pen, because of the ring on her hand. A thick gold ring. Worn smooth, marked with scratches and scars deep as memory. A West Point class ring. Class of 2002, the war class. He knew that ring. He had seen it covered in ash, blood, and fire. His breath caught. Melanie? She lifted her eyes slowly, meeting his with a calm he hadn't seen since before the war. Double quotes. Hello, Marcus. Silence slammed into the room. Officers stiffened. Vance paled. Thorne looked like he'd swallowed a live battery. Sterling stepped back, staring at Hurley, staring as recognition hit him like recoil. The posture, the eyes. The scars faintly scoring her hand. He swallowed hard and let out a shaky, stunned laugh. My God, he said hoarsely. I didn't recognize you. They said the advisor from Washington was named Dr. Fox. I should have known. Melanie shrugged. That's why I wore blue. Camouflage makes everyone look the same. Sterling actually laughed, a deep, genuine sound no one had heard from him in a long time. Then his expression snapped to fury as he turned on Thorne. Do you know who this is? Thorne stuttered helplessly. As she was. Sitting in the admin chair, Sterling cut him off. That is Lieutenant Colonel Melanie Fox. Retired, former battalion commander, 10th Mountain Division, Distinguished Service Cross, 2 Purple Hearts. The woman who led route clearance teams in the exact terrain you just lied about analyzing. A stunned gasp rippled across the room. Someone actually choked. Melanie stood as Sterling moved aside and gestured respectfully toward the head seat. Your chair, Dr. Fox? She walked past. Thorne, who shrank into his overpriced soutane, sat at the head. Sterling took the chair beside her like an anchor, rediscovering gravity. Gentlemen, Sterling announced to the room, listen carefully. And do not interrupt her. For the next 2 hours, she dismantled their strategy with quiet precision. She spoke of rock fractures, seismic shift zones, tribal patterns, convoy timings, unseen bottlenecks, ambush markers, things no satellite could capture. Officers scribbled notes like desperate students cramming for the exam of their careers. Even Thorne didn't dare breathe wrong. When she finished, Colonel Vance approached awkwardly. Ma'am, my earlier comments about coffee, I deeply apologize. Melanie closed her notebook. Colonel, I don't mind coffee, but never assume the person serving it can't do your job better than you. He swallowed. Yes, ma'am, he saluted a civilian. As the room cleared, only Sterling remained. He studied her with a mixture of nostalgia and relief. You haven't aged a day, Loney smirked. You need a new prescription. His eyes dropped to her class ring. I thought you lost that. I did, she whispered. One of my sergeants crawled into a burning hole to retrieve it. Said he wouldn't let the mountain take everything. Sterling's jaw tightened. Some wounds never healed. Melanie stood. I need to catch a flight. My daughter has a soccer game tomorrow. Sterling smiled faintly. That sounds peaceful. It is. At the door, she turned back. Marcus, don't send them through Sector 4. Even light vehicles. Right? He nodded immediately. I trust you, Mel. Always. She left quietly. A young captain nearly bumped into her. Sorry, miss, he murmured, hurrying on. She didn't correct him. She didn't need to. Her ring caught the harsh white hallway light as she walked away steady. Sure, unstoppable. The kind of woman whose story channels like Soldier's Legacy were made to honor. Later, Sterling hovered over the map alone. The red line through the wadi stared at him like a ghost. He picked up a marker and slashed a thick X across it. Not today, he whispered. Weeks later, a report landed on his desk. Convoy rerouted. Minor contact. 0 casualties. A footnote. Major landslide. Detected in Sector 4. Catastrophic. The convoy would not have survived. Sterling closed the report, leaned back, and murmured with gratitude. Fox. And somewhere over the clouds, on a plane heading home to her daughter, Melanie Fox sipped her coffee in peace, unaware that she had once again saved lives simply by refusing to stay quiet. A quiet legacy. A soldier's legacy. A reminder that true warriors don't always wear uniforms, but they never stop serving.